people hosting and helping you when you're technologically deficient like I am. So anyway, let's just get going. I thank you all for being here so much. It's wonderful to have you. And it's both fortuitous and declarative that we celebrate Democrats and democracy tonight. While our hearts sank as the Virginia results from Tuesday became confirmed, just yesterday we have been given, at long last, reason to celebrate. I am confident that there are many more wins to come, part two of the infrastructure package, to protecting voting rights of our brothers and sisters and friends in other states, to protecting our local officials who are fighting for our communities and our kids. And there's so very much more. But that is what being here tonight is all about. It's about Democrats building back together and to celebrate, yes, but more importantly, to make a commitment to one another and to ourselves that together as a team, we can and will affect changes that that humanity and the planet itself so desperately craves. To begin tonight's festivities, I am honored to introduce to you and welcome Karina Miller. Karina is a member of the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs and is Wasco tribal representative of the 27th Tribal Council of Warm Springs. She serves in a critical role as co-chair of the Energy Committee of the Affiliated Tribes of Northwest Indians. Karina also works hard for Democrats in Jefferson County, CD2 and around the state, and the Democratic Party of Oregon, and serves as chair of our Native American Caucus. She will conduct tonight's land recognition. Karina.
Madam Chair, I am so sorry. Karina is having some technical issues. She just, I'm trying to get her connected. So we're excited that we're investing in rural broadband with the infrastructure bill.
I was just going to observe that. Yeah, the broadband is especially essential in our rural areas and especially essential on our tribal lands. So why don't we do this as we wait to confirm for Katrina? First of all, we'll go. I would like to thank Stephanie Newton's daughter for that great instructional, because yes, dear, I see at the very least an organizer in our future there. Campaign lead, who knows, maybe governor someday. Oh, no stopping that one, Stephanie. So let's go ahead and Candy, just give me a heads up when Karina comes on. But Stephanie, would you like to go ahead and with your daughter conduct the pledge?
Yeah, thank you so much, Casey. So I'm Stephanie Newton, and my daughter is now decided to be a little shy. You want to come up and say hi? You come up.
Hi.
And this is my son Woodrow.
Hi.
I am chair of the DPO's Disability Justice Caucus, and we are so excited to be here tonight.
Right over.
And celebrating everything that all the Democrats have done to build back better and to support young families like mine through historic investments in childcare, early childhood education. And I'd like to ask you guys all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
A pledge of allegiance to the flag.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For liberty and justice all. Hi.
Well done, team. Well done. Thank you. Thank you so much. So Candy, do we have status on Karina?
We do not yet. Let's continue with the program, and when she's able to join us, we'll get her on.
We'll do just that. So in welcoming you tonight, I want to acknowledge the heart-pounding, crazy week it's been. And it is, and of course, it's only followed weeks and months of us political junkies, activists, pounding our heads against hard surfaces and alternatively muttering or hollering at the TV set. Now, show me your Zoom waves now. How many of you, when seeing Joe Manchin or Krista Sinema on the screen, have felt your blood pressure spike or hurled or uttered colorful expletives at your TV? Can I see? Yes, I know you have. Well, with passage of chapter 1 of the two-part infrastructure pack, we have As a big, bold, argumentative, nuanced, and caring party, we finally launched nationally into 2022. We bring bold change. We bring solutions to problems. We bring hope. Now it's up to all of us to share and show that Democrats deliver over the next 12 months. But together we can, because of you here tonight, we can. We know what the Republicans are going to do. We know what they're going to complain about. And they'll complain about more and more. But we deliver. And if they talk about parents, and if they talk about families, who protects families? Which party cares about families? We can talk about the child tax care credit, pre-K education. We can talk about just saving lives during COVID. And there's so much more. But we're going to be doing it together, and we're going to be winning together, because we're going forward together, and we're going to win. So anyway, let's meet some of the fine folks who are breaking bread with us tonight. First of all, I thank our donors. Your dedication is a valuable asset as we fight for progressive values in Oregon. Thank you to President's Council members who give us the major investments to make sure we have the building blocks of our organizing and outreach programs. The Capitol Circle folks. These are folks who really stretch to make sure our Democrats are armed with the tools and strategies to win. And of course, our grassroots Democrats, our hundreds and hundreds of grassroots members who give each and every month so we can build the strongest outreach campaigns possible. Thank you all. You've given and continue to give us the base of support we need to build our campaigns early and win. We thank our sponsors, and we'll thank our big sponsors in a little bit, but I want to give you an extra shout out to consistent donors. Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, IBEW Local 48, Roger Worthington of Worthy Brewery. Stop by there if you're in Bend. The Carpenters, Northwest Carpenters, Morel Inc., La Moda, NGP Van, Target Smart, and our DPO union, IUPAC, Go Painters. And an extra shout out to our frontline workers and organizations who have done so much for all of us during this past 20 months. You again have sponsored tonight's gala, and we so appreciate you. Oregon Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals, Oregon Nurses Association, and UFCW, United Food and Commercial Workers 555. Next year, we as Oregon Democrats have huge work ahead to re-elect our Senator Ron Wyden and our congressional delegation, win CD6, expand our majorities in the Oregon House and Senate, and elect local Democrats. We also have important work before us to hold on to the governor's office to keep Oregon moving in the progressive blue direction. So far, we have some folks that have declared they will be seeking the Democratic nomination for governor. As Oregon Democrats, I know you are all excited about getting to work in that race and hit the ground hard for our eventual nominee. A big shout out in alphabetical order to Wilson Bright, Peter Hall, Tina Kotek, Nick Kristoff, Casey Kula, Dave Levinsky, Kay Merchant, Tobias Reed, and Michael Trimble. So many of these folks are with us tonight, and if we were schmoozing, you'd be schmoozing with them next time. And now I'm happy to turn it over to our vice chair, Rosa Colcoy. Rosa, Zoom mic's yours.
Okay, I got it that time. Thank you, Chair Casey. And I too would like to add my words of thanks to our sponsors. I don't think we could get anywhere. We might not be doing any of this without our valued sponsors. Hello, everybody. My name is Rosa Colquitt, and I am privileged to serve as one of the vice chairs for our Democratic Party. I am also a long-term leader of our statewide Black Caucus. This evening, I have the pleasure of introducing an amazing leader and friend to countless Oregonians. She is someone who I've had an opportunity to introduce in the past, but I feel it a greater opportunity each time that I'm asked to do so. Oregon Secretary of State Shemia Fagan is a working mom of 2 young children and a proud lifelong Oregonian. Secretary Fagan was raised by her dad and 2 older brothers in small towns in Wasco County. We can all appreciate that she has always been open with Oregonians about the challenges her family faced and overcame. Her dad struggled as a single parent, and her mom battled addiction and homelessness during Shamia's childhood. Still, our Secretary of State was encouraged by loving members of her community and dedicated educators who gave her the confidence and drive to put herself through college and law school. On voting rights, Secretary Fagan has been a champion, helping shepherd Oregon's first in the nation automatic voter registration and expanding Oregon's vote by mail with prepaid postage. I bet we all like that. Shamia has said she ran for Secretary of State because it's never been more important to lead the fight for protecting and expanding the fundamental right to vote in Oregon. Please, everybody, join me in welcoming Secretary of State Shamia Fagan and in celebrating her phenomenal journey. Thank you. Secretary Fagan.
Thank you, Rosa. Thank you, Rosa, and hello, Democratic Party of Oregon. I'm actually in Aunt Shishi mode right now. I am out in Eastern Washington cheering on my nephew in the 8th grade football championships, but couldn't miss an opportunity to be with my Democratic Party of Oregon friends. And our job, my mission as your Secretary of State, it's simple. My job is to build trust. That's what we're working on doing here. We want to build trust between Oregonians and their state government so that Oregonians will trust the public services and the public servants that can actually make a difference in their everyday lives. And that is something that is near and dear to me. I know the impact on families when those services fail, like the housing crisis left my mom battling homelessness, or the addiction crisis that was treated as a criminal issue and left my mom battling addiction my whole life. But I also know the impact of those public services when they work, when they do what they're supposed to do, like the schools in Northern Wasco County and Dufur and the Dalles that quite literally changed the course of my life. And that's why when I got sworn in last January as your Secretary of State, I didn't do it at the Capitol. I didn't do it in Salem. I did it from the steps of my elementary school in Dufur, because I wanted to make that visual, that full circle of my appreciation for those public servants out in Dufur and the Dalles schools. And so, you know, it's sad that this should be a bipartisan issue. Building trust in government should be a bipartisan issue, but it's sad that we're now seeing that there's only one party that's actually looking to build trust and another party that's looking to constantly erode that trust unless they win. I mean, we saw this last Tuesday, right? There were no complaints coming out of Virginia where Terry McAuliffe lost, and that wasn't how I wanted the race to go, but we accepted that. We accepted the outcome of that election. We trusted those elections workers in Virginia. And yet up in New Jersey, where the Republican lost, did they accept the outcome? Oh, hell no, they didn't. They're complaining and refusing to concede. And so we have a situation right now where there's only one party trying to actually build that trust. And there's another party that only believes in that when they actually win an election. And so what we have to do is we have to win our elections and continue to build trust in state government. And that means sometimes when we make mistakes, when we're human, we just fess up to them and we say, hey, here's what we're going to do to make it better next time. And so as your Secretary of State, that's my mission. I'm out here working to build trust with Oregonians. And I'm glad that the Democratic Party of Oregon is joining me in that. So Rosa, Casey, I can't wait to see all the rest of the speakers, and I hope that you all have a wonderful night. I will definitely be on mute because I'm going to lose my mind when my nephew goes out and sacks the quarterback because he's a defensive tackle. So have a great day, and happy Democratic Party of Oregon.
Thank you very much, Secretary of State Shemaya Fagan. It's wonderful having you in such an important role, ensuring that the public can trust elections and have faith that we can have a government that we can work with and have honest and sometimes even difficult conversations. I'm DPO Vice Chair Pete Lee, and now it is my profound honor to introduce Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, representing Oregon's 1st Congressional District. Strengthening public education is one of Suzanne's, one moment, is one of Suzanne's top priorities and one of the reasons why she got involved in public service. In Congress, Suzanne is a leader on the Education and Labor Committee and chair of the subcommittee on Civil Rights and Human Services. Congresswoman Bonamici has long been an advocate for equity in education policy and funding and is focused on making college more affordable and providing workers with the in-demand skills to enter the workforce successfully. Suzanne is fighting for us every day to help working families get ahead and to build an economy that gives everyone the opportunity to succeed. We are so thankful to have you, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici.
Hello, Oregon Democrats. Thank you so much for all your hard work. We didn't get to see each other at the summit this year. I really missed that, and I hope we'll be able to get together in person soon. You know, we're just about a year away from the 2022 election, and we know how much is at stake. Healthcare, voting rights, democracy. And I don't know about you, but I certainly do not want Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker of the House. We have right now a razor-thin majority, and we're going to be doing everything we can to keep that majority, and we hope grow it. And with a new congressional district in Oregon and a governor's race, we know there's going to be a lot of national attention in our state. So thank you for all you do. I'll keep fighting in DC to build back better, and I'm glad to have you with me in the fight. Let's keep up this energy and win big in 2022.
All right. Thank you so much, Congresswoman Bonamici. Hi, friends. I'm Democratic National Committeeman Travis Nelson, and I'd like to thank the following elected officials who are participating tonight. If I don't call you out, please be sure to use the chat. Thank you so much to the following electeds for participating. Senator Ron Wyden, Congresswoman Nikema Williams, Congressman Peter DeFazio, Congressman Earl Blumenauer, Congressman Kurt Schrader, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, Treasurer Tobias Reed, Secretary of State Shemaya Fagan. Our state senators, Senate Majority Leader Rob Wagner, Senator Lou Frederick, Senator James Manning, and our state representatives, Speaker of the House Tina Kotek, House Majority Leader Barbara Smith Warner, Representative Anna Williams, Representative Rachel Prusak, a fellow registered nurse, and former elected officials, former State Representative Phil Barnard, former State Representative Margaret Doherty, former State Representative Rick Metzger, and former Democratic Party of Oregon Chair Frank Dixon. And I'd like to thank all of our state senators and state representatives. Thank you for fighting for us every single day in Salem. Your hard work and dedication are extremely appreciated. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Risher. I am one of Oregon's 3 elected Democratic National Committee members, along with Travis Nelson, who just spoke, and along with Matt Keating. I would like to also call out the officers of the DPO and recognize them. Casey Hansen, Vice Chair Pete Lee, Vice Chair Rosa Colquitt, Secretary Eileen Kiley, and Treasurer Eddie Morales. Also, I would like to commend the staff and thank them for their tireless hard work and really their Herculean efforts at getting things done. So thank the staff, our wonderful DPO staff. And I would like to introduce our next speaker, a very daring and dashing young progressive senator who in his first term in the Oregon Senate was elected Senate Majority Leader. And I'm going to let you let him tell you all about himself. Now on to the Honorable Senator Rob Wagner.
Did I get it? All right. Daring and dashing. Hey, Gordon, my legislative director, do you get that? I want to make sure I've got that. Is somebody recording this, please? I'm going to play that back to my 4 teenagers. Yeah, that's like dad humor right there. It's like I got full on dad jokes going on right now. So no, thank you so much for I really appreciate that. I won't go deep on my bio. You can Google me and only read about half of, or believe half of what you read on there. But I want to give a shout out to my incredible colleagues that I get an opportunity to serve with in the Oregon legislature and get to partner with. Barbara Smith Warner, the House Majority Leader, Speaker Tina Kotek, everyone that you saw reflected here, and also our incredible federal delegation and statewide, folks. We have a clean sweep. Let's not forget that. Brown, Reed, Fagan, Rosenblum, hello, my friend, Val Hoyle, and Democrats, folks, Democratic donkeys in Oregon are kicking ass. So get your brooms out because next year we're going to continue that sweep. I want folks to, you can bank on it. Truly though, you are so well served by Democrats across the state, in the Oregon Senate and the Oregon House, from which I get an opportunity to work with strength and grit and fortitude. These jobs as citizen legislators are hard enough. So Ben and Travis, you might want to check in on whether or not you really want to join the teams here. In the face of incredible policy challenges like unemployment and housing and global climate change and providing social emotional supports for our kids and healthcare and doing it on Zoom and wearing masks. But folks also need to remember that the month before our US Capitol was attacked, my colleague, State Senator Dallas Hurd, who sits one aisle over and one desk away from me, went in front of the Oregon State Capitol and spoke to a slathering herd of conspiracy crazies, calling us punks and fools, and then unleashed a mob on our state capitol, where folks like now excused from his position, Mike Neerman, thank you, Speaker Kotek and company, was attacking our Capitol Police. And the last summit we were able to attend together in Sun River, I gave a morning address. I always love it when I get the Sunday morning address after the parties on Saturday night, where people are blurry in their eggs. But I said that this is not the Republican Party of Tom McCall and Mark Hatfield. This is firmly the party of Trump and conspiracy. But working together, we are going to push back on that crazy ass fantasy world that the Republicans live in, that they try to use to divide us. I said earlier that blatant propaganda and abuse of the misinformation of science, the scare tactics that they employ when talking about racial equity in education, and the dangerous and false narrative that you heard from Secretary Fagan around voting security. But we can't be consumed by trying to refute their narrative. We have to tell our story. We have to be bold and proactive and get our message out. And I get the opportunity in the legislature because I work with 54 other amazing Democrats working on 4,000 bills. I get to watch that work happen. I get to watch Senators Frederick and Manning partner with Representative Bynum on efforts to address racism in our state and pass landmark police accountability. I get to work with Senators Jama and Representative Pham, making sure that refugees from Afghanistan feel supported. I get to work with folks like Representative Prusak and Patterson who are holding hospital systems accountable and holding pharma accountable and telling folks that Democrats, we believe that healthcare is a fundamental human right, no matter of your documentation status. That is the Oregon Democratic Party. I get to work with Barbara, and I get to work with Jenny Burdick on making our communities safer by passing sensible gun safety. I get to work with Teresa Alonso Leon and Michael Dembro on student success initiatives. And finally, I get to work with folks like Jeff Golden and Pam Marsh down in the southern part of our state. And sometimes we talk about the urban-rural divide. We talk about how urban Democrats don't care about rural communities in this state. But if you look at our record and what we're able to do in partnering with ARPA dollars in terms of water investments or bringing fire protection legislation to look at how we can shore up safety in our communities so we aren't choking on smoke, and passing 100% clean energy standards, we can do this together, but we have to do it together. So it's such an honor to be able to do this job in the Oregon legislature and to partner with your amazing Democrats in the state of Oregon to get this work done. Let's go get them. 368 days.
Thank you so much, Senator Wagner. My name is Eddie Morales. I'm the DPO treasurer and city council president for the city of Gresham. There's a digital program that you all can access at dpo.org/program. I want to sincerely thank the sponsors of this event tonight. Our platinum sponsors include U.S. Senator Ron Wyden, Roger Worthington, IBW Local 48, IUPAT District Council 5, the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, Layton Band of Pomo Indians, Pacific Northwest Regional Council of Carpenters, UFCW Local 555, Morel Inc., the Oregon Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals, the Oregon Education Association, Espousal Strategies LLC, Aaron Mitchell and Rosa Casares of La Mota, King Estate Winery, NGP Van, PacWest Lobby Group, and Target Smart. Thank you all so much, and join me virtually in clapping and celebrating our sponsors. Now I'm really thrilled to present a video from my dear friend, my congressman, and our progressive champion, Congressman Earl Blumenauer.
Thank you so much for gathering to support the party this evening. You know, we've been through a lot in recent elections, defeating Donald Trump, electing Joe Biden, making sure that the House and the Senate were in Democratic control, and of course, the progress we've made in Oregon, turning county after county blue. But it is critical that we don't let up. The midterm elections are going to be substantially more difficult for all the reasons you know. You are the hidden ingredient, working with the state party, working nationally with my fellow Democrats and folks around the country. But it's the Democratic activist in Oregon that makes it all happen. I deeply appreciate your efforts. Looking forward to working with you this year and in 2022 to make sure that we bring it in for a landing.
Thank you, Congressman Blumenauer. Good evening, Democrats. I'm Eugene City Councilor and DNC member Matt Keating. It's my honor to thank our gold level and silver level sponsors. Leading off on team gold level, U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley. Thank you. Oregon's 38th Governor Kate Brown. Congressman, my congressman, Chairman Peter DeFazio. Congressman Earl Blumenauer. Congressman Kurt Schrader. Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici. Attorney General, my favorite Attorney General of all the attorneys general around the United States, Ellen Rosenblum. Treasurer Tobias Reed. From Lane County, Labor Commissioner Val Hoyle. Secretary of State Shamia Fagan. Future PAC, Senate Democratic Leadership Fund, SDLF, the American Postal Workers Union, Iron Workers, District Council of the Pacific Northwest, Oregon Machinists Council, Oregon Nurses Association, ONA, Oregon State Building and Construction Trades, SMART Transportation Division of the United Steelworkers, Bumper Active, OPAD Consulting, The Pivot, Resonant Campaigns, Stone's Phones, Winning Connections, and Winning Mark. And now our Democratic Party of Oregon silver sponsors, Senate Majority Leader Rob Wagner, State Senator James I. Manning Jr., State Representative Rob Nose, Representative Paul Evans, the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, Joint Council of Teamsters, Local 37, Northwest Oregon Labor Council, AFL-CIO, C&E Systems, Fieldworks, Lynn Bergstein, and Northwest Strategies, and more campaigns. A huge Zoom jazz hands thank you for our generous silver and gold level sponsors. And now, Democrats, it is my honor to share a video with you featuring the chair of the House Transportation Committee, my Congressman, Peter DeFazio.
Well, welcome to the Democrats' Build Back Better Gala. I'm in DC working on trying to get the Build Back Better bill done. We all put a tremendous effort into the last election, elected Joe Biden, kept the House, evened up the Senate, and yet the path ahead is going to be difficult still. The Republicans are hard at it. They've already spent $300,000 in my district already. They're targeting the 5th and 6th districts of Oregon also. And then they'll be tampering all the way down to the gubernatorial and local level. So it's more critical than ever that we are all incredibly engaged and focused and as generous as we can be to help support the party, the candidates we support, the issues we support, because this is about nothing less than the future of America's representative democracy. We passed the rescue package, the greatest reduction in child poverty in the history of the United States. But now we need to do more. We need to put America back to work. We need to deal with the existential threat of climate change. We need to provide more equity across the society. And all these things are part of the Build Back Better bill. And we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done soon. We're going to get it done with your help and your support. Thanks very much. Thanks for being there tonight.
Hey, everybody. Anybody that knows Senator Jeff Merkley knows him as Jeff, the regular guy, former district leader in House District 47 of Multnomah County for the Democratic Party of Multnomah County, who then became a House rep in the Oregon House, who then became Speaker of the House, who then became an Oregon, U.S. Senator from Oregon, and who is now known around the country for his gentle power, heartfelt values, and driving advocacy. Jeff is truly a Mr. Smith goes to Washington story. Of course, ironically, in 2008, he actually beat a Mr. Smith to become our senator. He's a tremendous advocate for us. And without further ado, play the video.
Welcome, everybody. Senator Merkley here. So delighted to have you joining us for the Build Back Together Gala. We have so much work to do right now in our national government and then for the elections next year. Senator Wyden and I are doing everything we can to pass the Freedom to Vote bill to take on gerrymandering and dark money, election subversion, and knock down the blockades of the ballot that are being erected in some 19 states across this country. We've never seen anything like it. It's a return to pre-1965, very racially motivated efforts to block groups from voting. And it's absolutely un-American. It's absolutely immoral. And that's why we need to pass the Freedom to Vote Act. And to do that, we also have to reform the ability of the Senate to get things done, which means that we need to get rid of this no-show, no-effort veto that the minority holds right now on Democratic policy initiatives. That's important for freedom to vote, but it's also important for the Pro-Labor Rights Act. It's important for Women's Health Act to take on what's happening in Texas. It's important for taking on climate. So much work to be done. We can't give Mitch McConnell the veto that he holds right now. And then we'll be looking at those elections in Oregon. We're going to get Senator Wyden reelected. And we have an open governor's seat that we're going to have to fight hard to make sure we get the right person, right Democrat to be able to carry our state forward. And we have redrawn districts, 6 congressional districts, which will add a whole interesting element, as well as newly drawn state house and state Senate districts. So I'll be working in partnership with all of you, because this really is a team effort to put America on track and to put Oregon on track to a much better place. So much appreciate your partnership. Let's work hard, never stop fighting to build a better world.
Thank you, Senator Jeff. Always working hard for us. So many of you know Senator Ron Wyden as a longtime champion for Oregon's values. You'd be right. From protecting seniors and consumers to advocating for the environment and healthcare access, Senator Wyden has been getting things done in Washington, D.C. since 1981. He was very precocious. Senator Wyden is known for his strong, effective leadership, for holding the Trump administration accountable, and for his accessibility to the public. He played a key role in preventing the repeal of the Affordable Care Act, and helped shine a bright light on the GOP tax scam bill. He has fiercely advocated for DACA recipients, net neutrality, and protecting Americans' privacy. And he is playing a key role right now in moving both infrastructure bills. I've been honored to know Senator Wyden for about more than a decade. He's a frequent canvasser for our own state house and state Senate candidates, and he's a great friend of Democrats throughout the state. In fact, tonight he is sporting a lovely ball cap, which he lifted from me at a Lori Monis Anderson canvas years ago. It's okay. He made it right, and it looks better on him than it does on me. Senator, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please take it away.
Casey, thanks for the overly gracious introduction, and you do an incredible job for us as our leader of the party, and you also are an all-time Blazer Hooper. So big thanks. And let me just say, I'm going to be real brief because I'm going to have the honor of introducing Congresswoman Williams, but I want to take a minute to say thanks to our terrific House delegation, because led by Chairman DeFazio, that did an incredible job in terms of delivering on the roads and the bridges and the transportation systems. There's $100 million in there for Oregon for broadband. We've got over 100,000 people who don't have access to what is really a lifeline in today's society. So to all the Dems in our delegation, they did a terrific job, and we're coming off that. And now we go to Build Back Better. And much of that goes to the Senate Finance Committee, KC, where I chair. And because people really are having questions about how does this relate to the roads and bridges and transportation systems. And it was best summed up to me by a young woman who came up to me and said, Ron, I'm really in favor of this infrastructure, the roads and the bridges and the transportation systems y'all are working on. Just know that if I don't have childcare, I won't be able to get to the bridge. And that is really what this is all about. So on the Finance Committee, we're working on some real bread and butter issues. A lot of folks in the party have worked with me since my days with the Gray Panthers and senior citizens. And let me tell you, what we're doing on this prescription drug issue, Casey, is we're tearing down the anti-consumer gates at Big Pharma. You know, we're saying that there's going to be some negotiating, for example, on the most expensive drugs. There's going to be a cap on insulin. They can't charge more than inflation without paying a penalty. And there's going to be an out-of-pocket maximum. It isn't everything that we would like, but make no mistake about it, for all us who are Democrats who've been taking on Big Pharma for years and years, this is setting an important precedent. Big Pharma is saying there never should be any negotiating. We've turned that corner. We're on our way. There's a lot more to do. Also on clean energy, that's going to be a big priority for us and Build Back Better. What I did is I took the tax code on energy and I threw it in the trash and said, for the future, the more you save and reduce carbon emissions, the bigger your tax savings. So Joe Biden's going to be able to lead us to those climate goals. And we can talk more about these kinds of issues, but what we're doing now in the Oregon delegation is tying Build Back Better, which is investing in people, to what just got accomplished with investing in the desperately needed improvements in roads and bridges and transportation systems. Let me introduce Congresswoman Williams. Her predecessor is pretty well known to Oregonians because we loved having them in our state, John Lewis. And by the way, John Lewis was a tremendous backer of Oregon vote by mail. Every single time we would have a press conference and we needed to get ourselves a draw, Congresswoman, John Lewis was there, and I just called him up and I couldn't even finish my sentence. He said, "Where do you want me?" He was really a PhD in terms of advocating for people who needed a fair shake and for the democratic process. And all the work that you and John Lewis laid the foundation for got us some really big wins last year in Georgia and in the entire United States Senate. We always say to Senator Warnock and Senator Ossoff, those two made us all chairs and gave us all gavels and all the rest. And we're very, very grateful to all of you in Georgia for your good work. And we're going to be with you in making sure we prevail on this voting rights issue in the Senate. We need to make an exception to the filibuster and get that done, period, full stop. Now, a couple of extra words about Congresswoman Williams. She is such a worthy successor to Congressman Lewis. She has been a powerful and effective leader in the fight for justice. And as the former director of the Gray Panthers, I know you're standing up for a lot of vulnerable people. And we very much appreciate your work on that, Congresswoman. And I thought I'd wrap it up by noting that we meet tonight in the virtual world, so to speak. You, Congresswoman, have a lot of admirers in the real world here in Oregon. Please, Oregon, let's give a big, big shout out to Congresswoman Williams. We're so, so pleased to have you tonight with us, Congresswoman.
Thank you so much, Senator Wyden, for that introduction. And Senator, all you have to do is say the word and I'll be right there with you for that press conference, because I am in awe of what you guys are doing on the voting rights space in Oregon. And we got to make that possible for voters all across this country. We have to standardize the right to vote in this country. So just say the word and I am there, Senator. I am so grateful to be here with all of you this evening. Y'all, I'm Congresswoman Nikema Williams, and I proudly represent Georgia's 5th Congressional District. And I also have the honor of serving as the chairwoman of the Democratic Party of Georgia. I want to thank the Democratic Party of Oregon and my counterpart, my colleague, my co-conspirator for justice, your chair, Casey Hansen, for having me this evening. I've seen what an incredible leader she's been for Democrats in Oregon, and y'all are lucky to have her. I also want to thank DPO Vice Chairs Pete Lee and my sister from Smith Station, Alabama, Rosa Colquitt, Treasurer Eddie Morales, Secretary Eileen Kiley, and Disability Justice Caucus Chair Stephanie Newton. I know the work of state Democratic parties can't happen without its officers, so thank you so much for the thankless work that you do day in and day out for Democrats all across your state. It's an honor to be speaking alongside so many distinguished Oregon Democrats. Senator Wyden, Senator Merkley, Secretary of State, Shemaya Fagan. I mean, just listening to her and her energy, even at a football game, she was rallying the troops on what it really means to have access to the ballot. Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, State Treasurer Tobias Reed, and Labor Commissioner Val Hall via video, who we've got to get reelected outright in May, y'all. I'm also thrilled to see my colleagues in the United States House of Representatives via video, my chairman, Congressman Peter DeFazio, Congressman Earl Blumenauer, and Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici. We're all coming off of a very long night, but I'm sure y'all saw it up close and personal on MSNBC, CNN, or Twitter. But it was all worth it to finally pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill. I also want to recognize DNC members, my colleagues, Travis Nelson, Michelle Risher, and Matt Keating, as well as Senate Majority Leader Rob Wagner. Rob, I got your dad jokes. My husband tries them and they don't go over too well in this household either, but we're going to let that slide. Thank you for the work that you're doing. And House Majority Leader Barbara Smith Warner. Thank you all for your work at the local and state level to uplift everyone in Oregon. As a former state senator, I appreciate what you all do so very much. I'm here today, nearly 1 year after an incredibly exciting election where Georgia shocked the nation. Not only did we flip our state blue in a presidential election for the first time in 28 years, but we also kicked our 2 Republican senators out of office and helped to secure the Senate Democratic majority by electing Senators Jon Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock, my constituents. From a distance, all of this progress might seem like an overnight success story for Georgia Democrats, but that couldn't be further from the truth. When I was elected chairwoman of the Democratic Party of Georgia just 2.5 years ago, I can assure you that many people across this country, most of you on this Zoom, and frankly, folks right here at home in Georgia, y'all, they thought we were too ambitious when I said that we could flip Georgia blue in 2020. Sure, they said we could do it eventually, but 22 was aiming too high, too far, and too fast. Well, 2.5 years later, I'm proud to say that we didn't listen to the critics and naysayers. Instead, we put in the work. We created a year-round organizing program and mobilized a broad coalition of voters all across Georgia, engaging in places where folks never had someone knock on their door or give them a call. We grew the best voter protection team in the country to make sure that every Georgian had the information they needed to vote and make sure that every Georgian's vote was counted. We built the strongest ground game organization Georgia had ever seen, expanding our outreach even further to Black voters, Latinx voters, AAPI voters, and young voters, and they made all the difference. And most importantly, we made sure to have strong Democrats just like you fighting for our values in every single corner of the state, because we didn't take a single vote for granted. It was our unprecedented early investment in organizing and outreach tailored to specific communities that put Joe Biden and Kamala Harris over the top in November and led Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock to victory in January. And you better believe, y'all, we didn't stop in January. We built on this momentum, mobilizing voters for this past Tuesday's municipal elections. So just this week, Georgia Democrats flipped 41 municipal seats across the state for a net gain of 35 seats for Democrats in communities in every corner of Georgia. But again, y'all, this didn't happen overnight. It was based on years of fights that we lost and won, years of momentum and investing in diverse communities across the state. We remember back in 2017 when Jon Ossoff ran for Congress, inspiring a new coalition of voters and delivering record turnout for a special election. But in the end, he lost to the Republican candidate. There is also a big fight that we didn't win in 2018. And I'm sure that y'all have all heard of or are familiar with our gubernatorial race when Stacey Abrams ran in 2018. We all know about how Georgia's Republican Secretary of State, who is overseeing the gubernatorial election while also running it, purged voters from the rolls and made it harder for Georgians to cast their ballot. Also, in 2018, the Democratic challenger in Georgia's 7th congressional district, Carolyn Bourdeaux, y'all, she lost by under 1,000 votes for a congressional seat. But even in that defeat, we had success. Lucy McBath flipped blue that congressional seat that Jon Ossoff had lost just 1 year earlier. And 3 years later, Jon Ossoff was elected to the United States Senate, and Carolyn Bourdeaux flipped the only red to blue seat in the country in Georgia's 7th congressional district. Progress isn't a straight line. The best we can do is make sure in every election that we're reaching even more voters and making them feel seen and feel heard, no matter their zip code, their age, their race, their education level, or financial situation. Whether it's Oregon or Georgia, no state is too red or too blue to be counted out. And the work to protect our progress, to further our freedoms, and help every person live the promise of America in every part of our country never stops. It's the same kind of work that is happening in states across the nation, which is why it's so important to me to be right here with you all today, even after a very long day yesterday. From Atlanta to Portland, Savannah to Salem, Macon to Medford, the work of local and state parties is so important, and the need to support them year-round cannot be overstated. The support of the grassroots, of people like you, day in and day out, y'all, that's what helps Democrats build strong candidates, build connections across the state, and lay out the infrastructure needed to win elections, big and small, just like y'all have been doing in Oregon and just like we did in Georgia. This work isn't glamorous, it's not trendy, but it's the work that wins elections and makes sure that every one of us has leadership that we can believe in. We've seen our victories in 2020 paying off in Georgia, in Oregon, and across the country. Less than a year since President Biden took office, there's already so much to celebrate and to be proud of. Since President Biden took office, the economy has added more than 5.5 million jobs. Not only is the economy coming back to life, but with children now eligible for the vaccine, my Carter Cakes just got his vaccine 2 days ago, and President Biden's bold action to boost vaccinations, we're closer than ever to turning the corner in this pandemic. This is on the top of the incredible success of the American Rescue Plan. There's no way to properly convey how transformative this bill has been for our country, for our families, our businesses, and our communities. The child tax credit has already been life-changing. In Oregon, these tax cuts for middle-class families stand to benefit about 85% of families and cut child poverty in Oregon nearly in half. The numbers are similar right here at home in Georgia. The American Rescue Plan also gave restaurants, schools, businesses, and local governments the resources they needed to bounce back. It's easy to get caught up in statistics, but think about how all of our efforts last election cycle literally changed people's lives. Because of the hard work Democrats from Oregon to Georgia put in last election cycle, vaccines were rolled out at a record speed, giving folks the opportunity to protect themselves and their loved ones. Because of our hard work last election cycle, thousands of children no longer have to worry about where their next meal is coming from. Because of the hard work last election cycle, small businesses have been able to retain their employees and keep their doors open to our communities. Because of our hard work last election cycle, parents are getting just a little bit of extra help each month to provide for their kids and set them up for success. And y'all, we're just getting started. There is so much more ahead of us. As I'm sure you've heard, last night, Democrats passed a historic bipartisan infrastructure bill to invest in our roads and bridges and create millions of good-paying union jobs. And you all know that Democrats are also working to pass President Biden's Build Back Better agenda, which will bring about the biggest investments ever in fighting the climate crisis, supporting families, strengthening childcare and education, and expanding access to healthcare across the country. There's no way that any of this would have been possible without the tireless efforts to elect Democrats in Georgia, Oregon, and nationwide. We know for a fact that Republicans have no interest in supporting Americans by working towards a better future. Not one single Republican voted for the American Rescue Plan, not one. They have no interest in negotiating or passing the Build Back Better agenda. And perhaps most heinous is they've blocked legislation to protect the right to vote, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Which brings us to 2022. The 2022 elections will be here before we know it, and we're going to need to be ready for the fight of our lives. If we don't keep our momentum, we won't have a chance to continue to make lives better for the middle-class Americans that depend on us, to address the climate crisis, to advance racial equity, to improve healthcare, to expand access to quality education. We'll have no chance of passing real voter protection at the federal level. There is so much work ahead of us, especially down here in Georgia, where Republicans have made it harder to vote in an attempt to slow down our momentum, and where they're currently trying to pass new legislative maps that don't reflect the diversity or political realities of our state. This is the pendulum of our democracy. You win some fights, you lose some fights, but you always stay in the fight. That's how we won in Georgia in this last election cycle, and it's how we're gonna keep winning going forward. I know that it takes a lot of hope, a lot of faith, a lot of patience, and a lot of determination. Trust me, we especially know that down here in Georgia. But when that hope is combined with hard work, with relentless commitment to doing whatever it takes to make the future better for our children and grandchildren, y'all, that's when we prevail. So we're not resting on our laurels. We know that there's a lot of work ahead. We in Georgia are so grateful for the support of Democrats across the country in places especially like Oregon. And we're rooting for you as well, all the way from the Peach State, as you work to keep your Democrats in office and elect even more Democrats at the state and local, and tonight I heard even at the federal level. We all need to rally behind Labor Commissioner Val Hall, who is up for re-election in May. And then y'all gotta gear up and put in the work in November 2022. As my friend, my mentor, and predecessor, Congressman John Lewis always said, find a way to get in the way and keep getting into good trouble, y'all, necessary trouble. I'll be right there with you in this fight. So thank you again for having me. It has truly been an honor.
Holy cow, you know how I don't even know how to describe it. You know, Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, she is a force, right? I have never seen anybody go after consistently the former president who shall not be named for the 4 years that we had the misfortune of him being in office. She had that was her focus. She just did such great work on that the whole time, as well as doing all sorts of other great work with the legislature in her own areas. Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, thank you for being here tonight. And I'm going to hand it over to her now.
Thank you so much. And let's hear it for BSW, our fabulous House Majority Leader. Great job tonight. Woohoo! All right, and congratulations on the historic bipartisan infrastructure bill. Yay! Congratulations, Congresswoman, and to our entire House delegation. Fabulous work. Whew! What an amazing evening to be together with my DPO friends and to celebrate all the good and important things we Democrats do. And how wonderful to have Oregon's truly remarkable senior Senator Wyden with us, my husband's and my law school classmate, and Congresswoman Nikema Williams with us. Congresswoman, I just want to say to you, because I see you right in front of me in a little Zoom box here, you rock. Thank you. Thank you for your courage and your strength. You rise above the noise and you stand firm for our shared values. And we just appreciate you so much all the way out here in Oregon for being with us tonight and always. So now let me just put in a few words what your Attorney General, your in-house Justice League has been up to lately. So as you know, state attorneys general all across the country, and you just heard it from BSW, and she's right. We were the first and we were the best, frankly, line of defense against many of the outright horrors of the Trump administration. I said it, okay. So you might think with a Democrat in the White House and our party in control of Congress, oh, I could relax, take my foot off the pedal a bit, maybe just sit back and eat bonbons. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. We AGs are engaged in just as many important battles as ever. And here are just a few examples from here in Oregon. My office, which has a great legal team, has been defending, so far successfully, the legislature's congressional redistricting plan. Just yesterday, the special master doing the fact-finding in this matter issued a comprehensive report thoroughly vindicating the legislator's excellent work. Now, it's not over yet. I know it still has to go up through the various levels, but stay tuned. We are keeping at it. So even though we prevented a lot of bad stuff from happening, especially when it came to the environment, we spent a good deal of our time now fighting against some of the most horrible rules that did pass during the Trump administration, some of them at the last minute. So in federal court in Oregon this week, our office led an amicus brief, you know what that is, a friend of the court brief, against the past administration's expansion of religious exemptions to Title IX anti-discrimination in education requirements. The way those rules are set up, students, including LGBTQ students, won't know until after they enroll whether their school provides Title IX protections. This is totally unacceptable. Our brief will carry a lot of weight. And again, Oregon is the leader of a number of states. I think we got 19 states to join us. So then there are the terrible Title X gag rules that passed during the Trump administration, gagging medical providers on the subject of abortion. The Biden administration, under my former colleague, Health and Human Secretary, Director Javier Becerra, has replaced those rules with sensible ones. But guess what? Well-funded Republican attorneys general have banded together to challenge them. This is also a case that I led when it was here in the District of Oregon. And we filed it here with 21 states joining us. So it's up to leaders like me to step up and defend these new rules. And we'll be filing our brief shortly. And of course, we'll also be working hard to keep Roe v. Wade the law of the land. Don't get me started on that, but there's obviously a ton to do and we'll be there. We also continue to do battle with the U.S. Postal Service on its extensive reduction of services, especially with first-class mail. So this too is a holdover from the Trump administration. So President Biden, please get rid of Postmaster General DeJoy. He continues to wreak havoc with a basic ingredient in our democracy, vote by mail. Okay, gone, make him go away. It can happen, but it hasn't happened yet. The list goes on. As you can see, having Democratic state AGs is central to running not just our states, but even our country on behalf of the people we serve. And I haven't even touched the surface, I only have a few minutes, of what we're doing here at home with our expanded hate crimes and bias incidents work, our statewide hotline, soon to be expanded, thank you, legislature, our policy work leading 2 major task forces, labor trafficking and consumer internet privacy. I'll also be co-heading up a new very important commission to establish statewide police conduct and disciplinary standards. That sounds important, doesn't it? So finally, and I could go way on and on, but I'm just gonna mention one more thing. You may have heard that we are working on a huge national settlement against the pharmaceutical companies responsible for the opioid crisis. Hundreds, and I mean this is not a mistake, hundreds of millions of dollars will soon be heading Oregon's way. It's gonna take a little bit of time. We got a little work to do. Cities and counties getting everybody on board, but we're gonna make that happen. So as your Justice League, with your support, I am able to continue these and so many other fights. So to all Oregonians and all Oregon Democrats, I say this: you are simply the best. You give me all the motivation that I need to get this work done and just to keep at it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Great to be with everybody.
Thank you, Ellen. It's always great to have you on. You're always just such light and such positive force, and that's exactly what we need. And a thank you to Barbara Smith Warner, who great energy. Love you. Thank you so much. So yesterday we saw our big, bold, argumentative, nuanced, diverse, and caring Democratic congressional reps act as a team. So anyone that's known me for 2 minutes has heard me preach about working as a team, because just as yesterday showed, and as future congressional days will show, great things happen when we work as a team for a common goal. And as you know, the common goals now are critical. And how do we get them? Just like Congresswoman Williams said, we work step by step, and step by step we elect Democrats and we support Democrats. So I want to give you homework. Support your Democratic school board members, even if it's just giving them a shout out and say, hey, we got your back, you're doing a good job, stay there, we need you. In 6 months, it'll be election day to make sure Val Hoyle, our great Bureau of Labor and Industries chieftain, gets over the top and gets reelected. We need her, labor needs her. And there's so much more. Obviously, we're on a roll now. We're going to keep going. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. A huge round of Zoom applause for Congresswoman Nikema Williams. And thank you so much for venturing all the way out here to the rainy country. We'll catch you sometimes in Georgia. And thanks to all of you for coming tonight. Your pledges and your contributions make this party go. That's why we're successful. That's why we're continue to be successful. You make us blue. And there should be on the Zoom site now. Put up the slide. There's the slide. Thank God there's hosts here, because I couldn't do it by myself. Thank you, everybody. Onward, forward, go Democrats. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.